Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another PFL fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting some of the key fights for PFL 2021 event number 7, Cooper III versus MacDonald. So without further ado, let's get to the first fight that I'll be predicting. So in the first fight that I'll be predicting, we have in the lightweight division, Olivier Aubin-Mercier versus Daryl Horcher. And how I see this one right here is I just feel like Olivier Aubin-Mercier is just literally better in every single area than Horcher. Experience-wise, fought at higher levels, won at higher levels. Striking-wise, better boxing, better overall striking. Wrestling, better fight IQ, better submission grappling. He just like literally better in every area, just a more complete fighter. And I feel like he dictates it. I feel like Horcher's gonna give him a good bit of go early on, but not too much. Like he's gonna be in there, be competitive. But I feel like Mercier will be able to break him down, out wrestle him, out strike him, stick the jab in his face. Be able to land clean combinations, mix it up, and then started mixing his own grappling, then started to dominate from there. Then after there, in the second round, rinse and repeat, be to tag him up, buzz him on the feet, drag him to the ground, land ground and pound, flat him out, tap him out in that second round. So in this fight, I have Olivier Aubin-Mercier via second round submission. Now on to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, Curtis Millender versus Grayson Tebow. And how I see this match going on right here. So, first off, height and reach is a big advantage to Millender in this one. He has 10 inches of reach over Tebow at 78 inches versus 68 inches for Tebow. Then he has a 6-inch height advantage at 6'2 versus 5'8. So, yeah, 68 inch versus 78 inch. That's crazy. 6'2 versus 5'8, and Millender some days be like 6'4", 6'3". Like some days his legs be longer than others, and some days Tebow be a little bit shorter than others. Some days he be buffer than others, so he got his positives and negatives. He got his pros and cons. But as far as what I really see in this fight, yes, Tebow is the favorite, and he deservingly the favorite, especially getting that upset and robbery against MacDonald. Even though he really should have been shut out 3-0. I don't know what the judges were saying or what they were smoking. Better yet, but he didn't win a single round in that fight and lost every round pretty wide. MacDonald could have went out there, maybe just beat the mess out of him every single round and bust him up and made it look real easy, but he put forth a clean technical performance where he clearly outstruck him by like 20, 30 strikes every single round. And Tebow only landed about like 8 strikes a round, and none of them were super heavy. At no point did he have MacDonald hurt. At no point did he drop MacDonald. At no point did he even really put any damage on MacDonald. And I'm not saying MacDonald put any significant damage on him, but he definitely put some punches, put some hands, put some kicks on him. Got a couple takedowns, so definitely did much more work, and definitely was pretty clear. Even a blind man could see that. That was a terrible judging, or I don't know, maybe PFL trying to make their league more relevant because they say, oh, we beat Roy MacDonald. He lost in this league, so our league is good. I don't know. Leagues like to do that, like to build their names up off the UFC or former UFC fighters or people that have UFC kind of attached to them or are supposed to be good and supposed to be that. And I guess maybe UFC and Bellator are two of their competitors, but who knows? He was a former title challenger at UFC, and he was a Bellator champ and the defending champ in Bellator. So maybe that's what they wanted to do, but they did it. Or judges did it, whether they smoking crack or maybe they were paid off. Something happened and Tebow got the robbery of the year probably. Or close to the robbery of the year. But how I see this one, like I said, the height and reach come into play. Tebow does have a significant grappling advantage, and Millender's grappling is definitely terrible. Wrestling defense, significantly terrible. Submission defense, terrible. But on his best day, he's probably a top 10 striker in all of welterweight, as far as not just PFL, not just UFC, but in all of MMA welterweights, he's top 10 on his best days. When on his worst days, or on his average, on his worst day, maybe top 50. On his average, probably top 30, which is still pretty significant when it's like hundreds of welterweights in the UFC. Even in the UFC, I would say top 30. I'm just saying top 30 in general. So I would say he's definitely not top, yeah, he's definitely up there as far as some of the best strikers, one of the best strikers in the game, in the welterweight division. So give that man his credit. But going against Tebow, I feel like Tebow is going to come in here and definitely going to be looking to try to aggressively close that gap because he's going to be fighting from a football field away, getting hit by a slender man, and it's going to be some issues for him. So I feel like he's going to try to aggressively close that gap. And even if he doesn't try to aggressively close that gap, Miller's going to be able to pick him apart from a distance. And Tebow, even though he's a buff midget, I feel like in these days his weight doesn't transfer over as that well because these guys are at welterweight have gotten so much bigger than in the past. Maybe when he started MMA back in the Stone Ages, but like these welterweight is much bigger. Back when he was cutting the lightweight, he was like the Hulk at lightweight. Even then, people started to get bigger, so he's not as big to these people at lightweight. And then at welterweight, maybe at that time, maybe he was even a middleweight when he first started, or even a heavyweight. Because, like I said, the sport evolves. People get bigger. People get better at cutting weight. Better talent comes in. And at welterweight, I feel like he's still undersized. That's what I see in this one. And I feel like he might be able to have some grappling sense. I mean, he will be able to have grappling sense if he can get it there. But I feel like he's not going to be able to have as much success as he should have, because I feel like he's going to be a bit undersized. I feel like Miller's going to be able to wiggle, get back to his feet, bit of work. And not going to be have, like, say the same thing with, like, maybe a longer welterweight, maybe a bigger welterweight, like in the people he lost to. Bigger, more actual welterweights. But so I feel like it'll be a little bit of wiggle room for Millender to be able to address the grappling of Tebow a little bit better if it does go there. But what I really see is Tebow trying to crash and trying to aggressively go for a takedown, trying to come in with these big overhands, getting picked apart, getting countered, then get hit with running right into a knee, getting knocked out, and getting flatlined in under 2 minutes in the first round. So in this fight, I have Curtis Millender via first round TKO. Now on to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, a rematch. Lok Rajabov versus Alex Martinez 2. And how I see this one right here is I was going to lean to Alex Martinez to win the rematch as well. He won like a split decision, kind of a little bit controversy in the first fight. And in the second fight, like, I feel like I see advantages for him. He's still very long. I think he's a much more technical, much more cleaner striker. But he still has a lot of these tendencies that these strikers like to have, or these strikers with some grappling like to have. Like, they play into the grab, that like their takedown defense will be very questionable at times, and their fight IQ will be a little bit questionable as far as, you're in an MMA match and on bottom you're losing, but they'll a lot of times try to wrestle with these grapplers or wrestler with the wrestlers, try to get position over them, ultimately just to give up position, end up on bottom, and try to work for submissions off bottom and give up minutes and minutes of control time to their opponent. And when you're on bottom, you're losing. He was able to eke out a decision in the first fight. And I think he even got outstruck to an extent. Like, Rajabov landed more strikes. I feel like Martinez landed better strikes, but it's not like he landed nothing that heavy. And also, he spent too much time on his back. And even his fight against Nathan Schultz spent a lot of time on his back. Again, same issues. And it's not like he's fixing that issue or really doing the most to fix that issue. Like, he's a solid grappler, but I feel like Rajabov definitely will have a significant wrestling advantage like he had in the first fight and will probably have to the end of his days. And I feel like Alex Martinez, best thing I do is use his reach, use his height, use that length, control that distance, and don't initiate in the grappling as much. Try to avoid it at all costs and stay long. You got a much cleaner striker, and I'll strike Rajabov from a distance. Let him be aggressive. Let him be a brute. Let him be a knuckle dragger, swing these big sloppy shots like he like to do with his punches, and keep a distance and pick him apart from a distance. But what Martinez is going to do is probably throw some light strikes, maybe throw some slower kicks, which is going to allow Rajabov to catch them. And even then, he might be able to defend his takedown. He's going to try to go in for his own takedown, try to attack a submission, end up on bottom. And it's going to be a case where Rajabov is going to win really off, maybe land a couple more heavy shots. But really, matter of fact, the real case is going to be Martinez getting too comfortable and dealing with, competing with the grappling. He's going to be challenging him too much in the grappling. That's going to end up with him giving a position to the better wrestler, much better wrestler, ending up on bottom and losing a decision heavily due to control time. So in this fight, I have Loic Rajabov via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Clay Collard versus Roche Mafia. And I see this fight right here. I think Roche Mafia presents a decent test for Clay Collard. But I don't think he presents anything he hasn't seen really in his last fight in his career. Striking wise, I think Clay Collard is a much more fluid, much cleaner striker. As far as Mafia could bring, he got a decent bit of power. He can bring some pressure, but the pressure won't be much of an issue for Clay Collard. He's for much, much better strikers. He's for much better people with much better hands. It's not like Mafia has any good hands or anything. Decent Muay Thai clinch, decent fighter, but nothing that Clay Collard has not seen before. And as far as grappling, I feel like Clay Collard has already fought in the last fight. Literally fought what Mafia will bring in the grappling, if not better. So I just feel like Clay Collard will be able to outbox him, be able to stop the takedowns relatively easily, or at least address it well enough that he will be able to win with his striking, be the cleaner, more technical boxer, land clean counters, and take advantage of Mafia's aggressiveness. And start to put him on the back foot. Just outwork him, outvalue him, land the heavier shots. And I actually think he puts him away in the second round. So in this fight, I have Clay Collard via second round TKO. Now on to our next fight, we have in the co-main event, Magomed Karimov versus Sadibou in the welterweight division, if I haven't already said it. But how I see this one right here is, I feel like Sadibou is a very dangerous man, very long, powerful, kind of an interesting weird striking style, like clean technical, but definitely with his frame, it's like I said, can be like a little bit different, a little bit interesting with his style. Like definitely a guy to be concerned about. You gotta be very careful with him on the feet, just for his length, for the skill, and for the fact, for a little bit of his awkwardness as well. Power, length, technical striking, along with some awkwardness, makes him a very dangerous man on the feet. But awkwardness in other areas make him, make this pick a little bit easier. I feel like his wrestling defense is a little bit primitive in a way. Like it's almost instinctual. A lot of times with wrestling defense, a lot of times he falls back into his instinctual tendencies and gets away from the actual technical wrestling defense. Like every time somebody goes for a takedown, they have his legs. He extends his arms backward like to brace off the cage. Like that's not going to stop the takedown. Defending takedowns, as far as is almost similar to securing takedowns. It's all about controlling your opponent. When you're defending takedowns, controlling your opponent. When you're getting takedowns, controlling your opponent. And yes, while like in illegal cases, like you could grab a cage and pull for momentum to get advantage, and maybe even pushing off a cage might push your hips into your opponent. But I don't know, that this is bracing it off the cage is like not really going to defend a takedown. It's going to end up with you on your back. Maybe help you get into a seated position. I don't know. Maybe that is something technical. But the better technique would be to control your opponent's head, be able to get your hip in there, get underhooks. That would make your takedown defense much better. And clearly, no matter what he's doing, is not the best takedown defense because he ends up on his bottom a lot of times. So it's clearly whether he's been instructed to do that or it's been instinctual, it's not working like it should be. Now you're going against a guy with solid wrestling, solid controls, good submission skills, and those areas in your game are still lacking. Like he can very much catch, like MacDonald, carry him off. Definitely pick him apart on the feet if they stand on feet too long. But I feel like MacDonald, carry him off is going to be to pressure him, get him to, and then instantly, definitely look to get to the takedown early, work to get the takedown early, not rush in, not be sloppy, stay clean, set up his takedowns, get to his takedown. And Tebow C, like I said, takedown defense and grappling can use a lot of work and still very much instinctual. And if he works on it, maybe that could come to this camp and have worked on that, but I don't see that being the case. I just see him coming here. Similar flaws in his takedown defense, similar flaws in his grappling. MacDonald carry off, being a more well-rounded fighter, being to mix it up, work to that takedown, being secured. Tebow C's takedown defense in not being sharp enough, not being clean enough, not being technical enough, not being on point, still being more instinctual, be to drag him to the ground, work on him. And I think he's able to tap him out in the third round. I think it'll be like a third round submission, be able to wear him out over the course of 2 rounds and then tap him out in the third round. So in this fight, I got Magomed carry him off via third round submission. Now to our main event, we have in the welterweight division, Ray Cooper III, reigning PFL champion, welterweight champion, versus Roy MacDonald, former UFC standout, former UFC title challenger, and former Bellator welterweight champion. So Ray Cooper III versus Roy MacDonald, championship level fight right here. And I see this fight right here. So MacDonald clearly got robbed in his last fight, so he really should be 2-0 in PFL, but you get robbed, it is what it is. That's part of the sport. Sometimes the MMA guys is on crack, sometimes the judges on crack, but it is what it is. So Cooper III versus MacDonald. How to this one? I was going to try to lean to Cooper at first, but that is ultimately lean to MacDonald on this one. I feel like he just gives up a little too much and stuff. I'm not saying he gives like quitting, but I say as far as stat wise and other things I see him, I just feel like he's giving up a lot of stats on him. So Ray Cooper is a very short very short welterweight at 5'7", which is super short for the weight class, especially in this era. Very short. Really, even for lightweight, that's kind of short. That might be a 145 or really a 135. As a matter of fact, that's like 135 height at this point. That's not a welterweight height. But he's finding success. He's got some good wins in his resume, so he's making it work. He got some power in both hands, very powerful, solid wrestling. But I feel like MacDonald can definitely address his wrestling and definitely can deal with that or even out-wrestle him in like the situational out-wrestle him. Yeah, this situational out-wrestle him in this fight. Striking like 5'7" versus 6 feet, then 70-inch reach versus 79-inch reach. So MacDonald has a 9-inch reach advantage over him, and he'll have a significant height advantage over him too. I think like a 5-inch height advantage and a 10-inch, not 10-inch, a 9-inch reach advantage. So nearly 10 inches of reach advantage and about 5 inches of height over him. So significant advantages there, especially for a guy that has a solid jab and likes to stick and control his distance. And Cooper on the other side, like, very dangerous guy, but I do feel like he has a style, like he has a fighter's fighter, like a fighter's, yeah, what do they call it, a fighter's fighter style in a way at times, where he'll take risks, and even against low-level competition, those risks can cause him to get caught and get upset by lower-tier competition or get hurt by lower-tier competition. Like he'll go out there, guns are blazing, throw some big hands out there, got a very big right hand, left hand just as heavy, and especially on the counter, that left check hook is very heavy. Like this man will catch you sleeping, he will catch you catch you sleeping, catch you slacking, catch you slipping, and make you sleep. He will put you to sleep. So that's very concerning. But Rory MacDonald is a guy that's always sharp, always on point, and also with that 9-inch reach and that very long jab, solid footwork, clean clinical technique, and the ability to I think where Ray Cooper would catch other people lacking with his jumping hooks or his jumping that left, or really like I think most time in the left, that's the one that's like catching you. Like if you sleeping, he gonna catch you slip. Like if you slipping, he gonna catch your hand low and catch you with that left hand, like that left hook. So in that case, I just think yeah, in those positions where he would typically catch some lower tier competition or other fighters, I think in those positions Rory MacDonald will be able to duck under, score takedowns. I'm not saying it'll be to the great success or he'll be able to just go there so easily, but I do think eventually it'll be able to pay dividends. Like he'll be able to get positions, drain time off the clock, maybe make Ray Cooper more hesitant to throw that jumping hook, make Ray Cooper worry about the level changes, freeze him up a little bit at times, and then be able to keep that jab on him, throw those front kicks to the body, mix in some leg kicks, and fight a clean technical performance. I think Ray Cooper will definitely bring it. Ray Cooper III will definitely bring it and make this make it a fight. He's not gonna make it be a pretty fight like Rory MacDonald fight, a easy fight. He's gonna make it a war, make it a tough fight. But yeah, I think MacDonald will be able to stay calm, stay composed, stay sharp with his footwork, with his defense, and be able to take advantage of when Ray Cooper's reaching for these big bombs, score takedowns, get some control time, let some ground and pound, take some time off the clock, and give Ray Cooper different looks. I think he'll be able to win a pretty clean decision over Ray Cooper, or should have won a pretty clean decision over Ray Cooper, but we all know how the judges work here, so maybe they might favor the aggression. But I do think Ray Cooper will probably bring the fight they thought Grayson Tebow brought to MacDonald. Probably will be able to land a good clean shot, maybe get him a shot that he actually feels in that fight, and will be put up the aggressiveness and put up the activity, put up the pressure that they thought Tebow did. But I do feel like MacDonald will win the actual fight as far as actually landing more shots, landing the cleaner shot, being sharper on defense, being able to mix it up, score those situational takedowns on Cooper, and be able to edge the decision over him pretty clean. If not 30-27, then 29-28. MacDonald winning these rounds pretty clear and without much controversy. So in this one, I have Rory MacDonald via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for PFL 2021, event number 7, Cooper III versus MacDonald. And as always, thanks for watching.